And what are you really about? You know what I'm saying? Because how you start something is how you're going to finish it. You know, if you build a foundation of false tents, 9 times out of 10, your ending is going to turn up wrong. You know, and then everybody going to start looking at every potential fact that none that you say is 100. So you got to keep a person's word, you know, for what it is. You got to have some assurity that, okay, you said this, that, and the other, and I'm going to document that as your word. You said this is what you've done, and you know this, that, and other. So you got to do everything. I mean, that's what you got to know. And the seasons that you live in, you got to know, you know, what everything is about. And most people don't realize that. They don't realize that they have some authority in saying where their money go. You know, like about 2 days ago, I believe I did a little segment, you know, on the broadcast talking about don't waste your money, you know, because it was said on a regular show how you waste your money. And so these are things you don't want to do. You don't want to waste your money in these areas. Why would you give all your money to a place only to realize that it's going to be shut down in little to no time? You know, because one or two reasons. They only in it to get a nice car, a nice house, and can care less about what they're doing for the community. We want to take further steps, and we want to get actual down to the nitty gritty, the area nobody else wants to touch. Don't nobody want to touch these particular areas. Nobody wants to do the investigative part of it. Nobody wants to get nitty gritty in it and just put them on worldwide exposure. Like this broadcast is a worldwide broadcast. You know, I could be doing a live broadcast and be talking worldwide, and you can be getting worldwide footage. And then what makes it bad about it, it go on YouTube, it go everywhere, you know. So when I'm communicating with somebody, now you can't trace your stuff back now because you don't went worldwide, you know, on what you saying, you know what I'm saying? So, and then the way things are, you know, these potential high definition things, they pick up everything. You could be a mile away and it pick up everything that you say, and everything be documented, and people don't understand what we dealing with today. We don't understand this technology. A lot of people don't understand that. They don't have a background in understanding the fulfillments of that. Some people don't understand high definition type stuff. Once you start going across those barriers, you set yourself up for a big failure. You know, once you start playing with, you know, crossing the lines. And many people, they playing with federal stuff. When you play with federal stuff, even with potential monies, you set yourself up for a big failure, literally. If you play with that, and churches are as bad as the other folks, you know, that don't have no definition, no character, you know, using illegal devices where everything being tracked and traced. You understand? You got all kind of people, you know, satellites, sound bites, everything coming at you a million miles an hour, for everything that you do. Sometimes that can be a weapon used against you, because some people form a weapon in these things. You got people who do illegal activity, and while they doing illegal activity, it's like, why you doing that? Somebody else sitting in a big old center, and they just watching every potential thing while you watching everything. And nobody's watching the simple facts of the community. Seeing that we doing all this illegal stuff, and that's what people been doing, in legal activity. And when you're doing illegal activity, then you gotta say, well, hey, why did you put yourself in this predicament? Like, had you not known the consequences for doing this, that, and the other? But folks don't tend to reason with themselves. They don't tend to get to the nitty gritty. They continue. It's just like scripture say, shit, you continue in sin. The words say, no, God forbid. But people continue to do the same old when you're not supposed to do. Now you're doing stuff wrongly. Now you putting yourself in a bad position where you never get it. That's why people, they find out after they do the churches are a separate agency. So now you got a separate agency, but what you don't know is that it's going to be held accountable because it has government dollars that runs the church. Most of them don't build their churches off faith. They can't resurrect the dead. They can't cast out a devil. They can't bring sight to the blind. So when you talking to somebody like me that have cast out a devil, bring sight to the blind, that has resurrected the dead, and you get somebody who ain't, and then I'll go to them and I say, hey, so-and-so, you say this like that, they couldn't use the biblical Bible against me. You understand? Because I'm more advanced than they are. You understand? Spiritually, I'm smart, streetwise too. Understand? I just don't let people know all of the ins and outs of how I do what I do. Even when it look like I'm doing what I'm doing, that's still not the basic thing. See, this is psychological. So you get lost in it. They don't know which way I'm going to come with it. You know what I'm saying? Some people think, well, we think we got it down to a T. How are you going to do this, that, and the other? But in actuality, I might not even do none of the stuff to actually get my point across the way that I'm going to do it. So that blow a person's mind. They don't know which way I'm going to do it. I could probably just walk past. Another thing we're going to look at on tonight is the gun issue. The gun issue, it wasn't so much of the NRA organization because we wasn't the ones that was in we was not on guard at none of these potential places. There was other law enforcement officers. But what people don't know is there's a gun lobbying part. And those the people that do the ILA, which is the Institute Legislative part of the gun lobbying part. The International Rifle Association of America is not a gun lobby. That is the part that deals with other works. So people say this gun lobby organization may misinterpret who we really are as a whole. And so me being a member, I know the ins and outs of what people thought they knew. See, people can try to say that they know something, but if you haven't been a solid factor in an organization, you don't know diddly squat, and most of the people who renege on benefits to the NRA organization only did it from the pressure of people who, first and foremost, aren't going to do anything. They but march and do other protesters. But when it comes to really defending and helping people, they're nowhere to be found. And you can defend people in many different ways. It don't always have to be physically. It can be mentally that you can get victory. You can play in that field with a person mentally. Some people like to do that. So if you beat a person mentally, you can win the spiritual. You understand? But you got to be spiritual minded. And if you're not spiritual minded, you just lose. Because that's the highest consciousness. That's the higher self. And what I'm saying tonight breaks down every different category of issues, that a person face. I mean, people, they doing this stuff talking about it's these people's fault. It's nobody's fault but the people who was supposed to be in position. Now, if there was an on guard law enforcement officer, what was you doing? Was you the reason? What was you doing? What I want to know, what was you doing the day that this happened? Was you smoking? Was you setting up drug houses? What was you doing that you couldn't take on the actual work that you was taking on? And we got to look in those basic areas when we're doing something. You can't say that it was some other organization's fault when you were supposed to be ever present and supposed to dealt with the criminal assailant the way that he's supposed to be addressed. You can't just actually, say that it's a whole organization fault because we law-abiding citizens. You want to take our benefits, but y'all red flagging. How y'all red flagging us as an organization when we was never given a chance to stand for our cause? So if y'all want us to do law and order, y'all want us to do the national defense, y'all want us to do public safety more, then get out the way. That's what I would say. Literally get out the way and give us the opportunity, because we don't want to feel the effects. It's went globally. Now the whole thing is on the organization who's trying to help people the most. We trying to help the people the most. Now y'all taking away our benefits for something we weren't even involved in. There was not an NRA member present in none of these shootings. And now a bunch of little kids are running around protesting, talking about let's put pressure on this. But when something goes down after these marches, none of them gonna be nowhere found doing nothing. They not law enforcement. They not gonna protect nobody. They ain't gonna do anything. And that's just the real evidence. They will not. That's just a smoke screen. it only gonna last for so long, and then it's going back